I had to fight my way to the lake through the horrors of the night. I had to flick an old battered light switch imbued with childhood magic. I had to write a happy ending to a horror story. I had to save my wife from the dark prison she was being held in.
That's okay, Shaky. Thanks for letting me know. It happened earlier and I had to actually end the stream, so I just thought I'd end the stream again and then start it up again. Constant audio issues with this console and the Twitch streaming. No matter what change I make to the headset audio in the Xbox settings, there's always a side effect where there's either that noise happens or the audio for dialogue and cutscenes is muted. Ah, did that before.
I had to fight my way to the lake through the horrors of the night. I had to flick an old battered light switch imbued with childhood magic. I had to write a happy ending to a horror story. I had to save my wife from the dark prison she was being held in.
So now that means that this playthrough will be 3 separate VODs.
I will never give her to you.
Oh, that's okay, Shaky. That's no worries at all. It's just unfortunate. It doesn't happen with every game, but this tends to happen with new games. So this one is a remaster, so the remaster came out in 2021. The Xbox Series S/X version. So it happens with games like that. It doesn't happen with Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm just playing the Xbox One version of that. It doesn't happen with that. But it's getting to the point now where I'm probably going to have to get a PlayStation console in the future and then re-buy all the games that I already have on Xbox that are suffering from that issue, and then hopefully not have that issue on the PlayStation. But I don't exactly have $800 lying around to just buy a PlayStation 5. Oops, I don't want the normal shotgun. Shaky, hope you're having a good afternoon, a quiet evening here. I am, thanks, Shaky, yeah. Despite all those audio issues with the static sound, it's going not too badly. I'm hoping it doesn't happen with Control, because I'll be playing that after I finish this game. I think I've solved the issue of the dialogue being muted that happened to me last year, but who knows, I'll probably have the static issue again as well with that game. Hey Mendez, hey there dude, Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for the raid, I really appreciate it. I hope you had a great stream. Spicy Chicken, you wish you could buy consoles. Yeah, they're not really cheap either, as well. That's the other thing too. But yeah, I just don't know what the workaround is, because both audio settings with the headset have issues that happen on stream, so it's just very weird. The only alternative is to stop being a streamer that has a microphone and just basically play without talking, and that way when I'm actually streaming the game I can have my headset plugged into my television, not my controller, which would then stop that issue from happening. But I don't want to do that because I'd hate to have to type responses all the time. Shaky, still streaming from your PS4 Pro. Seems to hold up okay so far, aside from Valhalla, which will crash occasionally. If you did do PlayStation, I think you'd have a stable time. Yeah, that's it. You know, I just think that for some reason, Xbox has this weird compatibility with headphones and streaming issue, and I just don't know how to fix it, because I changed the headset setting to stop the static sound happening, and it does, but then it creates another issue. The dialogue audio doesn't come through, and I'm definitely not going to be a streamer that doesn't have dialogue audio coming through, because, you know, my big focus is on story and characters in games, so not having the dialogue come through on a game would be ridiculous. So I'm fucked either way. With either setting, there's an issue. Menace, hey Rod, coming in with a raid and host. How is your playthrough of Alan Wake going? It's going pretty good, thanks, dude. We're getting closer to the end. Been having that ridiculous audio issue where there's that static that comes through on stream. So that's been haunting me with this game. So I think in the future I'll just stick to streaming the original Xbox 360 Alan Wake and not the remaster. Because it's only the remaster that this happens with. It doesn't happen with the Xbox 360 original. Spicy Chicken, you wish you could back in the day, but you're too money worried nowadays. You're not even what you consider to be gamer enough to be considered a good purchase. Just ask the Lake for a PS5. Yeah, that'd be so awesome. Just to ask for that. And that's totally fair as well, you know. Shaky, the sound effect is wild. It's frustrating from a creation standpoint to have these obstacles. I'll punch the static for you. It really is. And the other thing is too, like recently I created a YouTube channel for archiving my streams. And one of the reasons why I stopped doing that years ago is because years ago the Twitch app, whenever the game would actually crash, it would cause the Twitch app to actually stop broadcasting. So I would have a playthrough with 10 different VODs because it would keep on crashing and then stopping the stream every time, you know. And that's why I stopped actually worrying about having my VODs go to a YouTube channel. And, you know, now that I've decided to actually do it as well, it means that these archived VODs are going to have that static happen on the damn thing too as well. So yeah, from a creative standpoint, it's very, very frustrating because it then makes me feel like I need to restrict what games I play, you know. So yeah, I think moving forward with Alan Wake, I'll just keep on playing the original version, because the audio issue doesn't happen with Xbox 360 games or Xbox original games. It's only the Xbox One. Some Xbox One games, like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, will do it. And Xbox Series S/X games. There are 2 other headset settings that I could select, but I need to actually purchase those, and it's just like, I could purchase them and still have the same issue as well. So it'd be more money just put down the drain. And it never comes through on my end. It's always on the stream that these audio issues happen. And the other thing is too, I don't think there's any way to just have a microphone plugged into the controller and then just have my headset in the television, because I don't think the microphone will pick up my voice on its own. So I don't have to worry about it for streaming games on my laptop. But it would cost a lot of money to actually get a PC that could run new games and then I'd have to upgrade it whenever it got to a point where I needed to, and I don't know. Sometimes it feels like you're trying to stop the ocean from turning up with a little cup by just throwing the water back in, but it's a useless endeavor because the water keeps on coming back anyway. Mendez, thanks Rod. Hope the whole of December was great for you. Shame about the audio issues. Is it due to the game itself or your own headset? When you first started streaming, you were using a headset whose mic would always pick up static and go through to the stream. So it was due to your headset for that particular instance, but you since bought another which doesn't get static. To be fair though, there was one instance with the new headset that did pick up static for some reason. Your old headset was plugged through the console on USB. This new one is plugged through the controller. It was, Mendez, yeah. It was a very interesting month. Because I was cramming so much stream time into getting playthroughs finished. But I was happy to say that I was able to get my annual deadlines complete. So I finished Shadow of the Tomb Raider before the year ended, as well as Assassin's Creed Valhalla, as well as got done the 10th anniversary celebration playthroughs of Assassin's Creed 3, the 15th anniversary celebration playthrough of Assassin's Creed, and I also got through the Batman Arkham trilogy, as well as Deus Ex, Human Revolution, Mankind Divided. So I managed to cram all that into December. Or most of that I mentioned into December. So it was really, really good. And for the longest time, I wasn't actually sure what the issue was. But then another issue happened where the dialogue audio would be muted. And it happened with Control last year. I wanted to play the Xbox Series X, Series S/X version of the game, and 4 hours into the stream someone mentioned, oh, what's happened with the dialogue audio in the cutscenes? And so for 4 hours I'd gone without even realizing that the cutscene dialogue wasn't coming through on stream, because it was coming through for me as well. So that audio issue happened with Control, and so I had to abandon the playthrough. But then that audio issue happened again later in the year with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And then, doing some testing, I found that it was due to the audio setting for my headset. The audio setting was Windows, was set for Windows, and I changed it to stereo uncompressed, and then that fixed the issue with the dialogue audio. But of course, having my headset set to stereo uncompressed is the setting that causes the static with the with the sound. So I'm in between a rock and a hard place, because that dialogue issue was also happening with Alan Wake when I went to do my Halloween stream of the remastered version. It happened with that too, so I abandoned the remaster and went straight to the original. And so yeah, when I did the Valhalla playthrough and finally figured out that it was the headset setting, then that's how I know that with Control I won't have that same dialogue audio issue. But the question is, will I have the same static audio issue with it? So the problem is too, like the headset that I've got is relatively brand new. It's only a few months old by now. Same with the controller that I'm using, so it's not the controller itself. And usually I could just get away with turning the controller off and then turning it back on, and then the static would stop. But now that doesn't always work, and so what I've had to do is actually end the stream and then start it up again. And also, I don't know if it's happened again, but earlier today the same thing happened where I had to end the stream and then start it up again, but then there was an echo on everything I was saying. So I don't know if that echo is happening, but the echo stopped once I shut down the stream earlier and then started it back up again. So it's just absolutely ridiculous. But with Control, if the static audio issue happens, I'm just going to replay the Xbox One version that I have, because I'm pretty sure it didn't happen with that, which will be fine. It doesn't matter, ultimately. As long as I can still play the damn game is what's important. So if the static issue happens with Control, I'll just basically end the playthrough and then load up Control, the Xbox One version that I've got, and then play and stream that. But we'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed the static audio issue won't happen with Control. Mendez. You caught some of those streams, and that's impressive that you managed to do everything before the month ended. Thank you so much, Mendez. Yeah, it's definitely...
I could see Mirror Peak in the distance. That's where Cauldron Lake was.
It was definitely cutting things fine, which is why this year I'm going to start my annual playthroughs earlier. So Assassin's Creed annual playthrough, I'm going to start that in February this year. And then Tomb Raider will probably follow soon after, I think. But with Tomb Raider at the moment, I'm doing a replay of the original Tomb Raider. I'm actually trying to see if I can get through the game quicker, so I'm kind of redoing levels if I feel like I need to see if I can do it quicker. But before I start my annual playthroughs for Tomb Raider this year, I will need to do my no death challenge with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Because when I did it for Rise at the start of last year, I said that I would do the same with Shadow at the start of this year. So that'll be one of the future Tomb Raider playthroughs coming up, getting through that game without dying. But obviously, I don't take it literally as in dying and then ending the playthrough, obviously. Which you could do that if you wanted to, but I mean to say, the punishment is starting the game all the way from the start again, no matter where I got up to. So if I die at the last level in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I have to restart the whole game. So that'll be coming up on the channel. And another reason why I'm doing the Assassin's Creed series, the annual series, so early is because I've got a lot of streams planned for Black Flag to celebrate its 10th anniversary. Because the thing about last year celebrating Assassin's Creed 3's 10th anniversary, I had to basically rush through the playthrough because I wanted to get it done before the year ended, but I didn't start it till like October. Well, actually, I think it was November that I started that. So I want to actually start the celebrations for Black Flag's 10th anniversary much earlier this year. So once I finish Black Flag as part of the annual series run for 2023, there will be multiple playthroughs for the rest of the year of that game doing different things to celebrate its 10th anniversary. One of which is a type of playthrough that I don't think anyone has ever done before of Black Flag. But I'm not going to say what it is because obviously if it is something that no one's done before, I want to make sure I'm the first one to do it. I don't want to say what it is and then someone does it before I do. But when I get to it, I'll actually obviously have to say what it is because I'll be into the playthrough of it. So that'll be coming up. I've got a lot of really cool things planned to celebrate Black Flag's 10th anniversary. So who knows how many times I'll play through the game this year to do that celebration. But if I start my annual series run of Assassin's Creed in February, I should get the Desmond games done by the end of March. And then that would leave me able to do Assassin's Creed Black Flag's annual playthrough, probably in April. And then after that, there'll be multiple playthroughs of Black Flag for the rest of the year then, to celebrate its 10th anniversary. And as for your stream just now, you were playing some Evil Dead, the game, sessions as a survivor with a 4-stack. You already brought your thoughts to you about the game and its current state at the moment, but with a group of friends you can still have fun with the game. As you said, your expectations are low, but you hope the next season pass focused on Ash vs Evil Dead content brings some more life into the game. Yeah, hopefully it does as well, because you wouldn't want that game to just basically fall to the wayside without any closure at least for it, you know, so hopefully those issues that you mentioned actually get resolved. But that is ridiculous too, you know, like, because in a way it makes it that it's only the early adopters who played the game that benefit from having a more balanced game, and then when they actually start to try and balance it further, they end up doing this thing, you know, where newcomers get slaughtered to the game. So, you know, that definitely creates a wall or a block that prevents some people from actually playing a game in the first place. So hopefully all those things can be sorted out. The release of Evil Dead Rise may also bring some content. That's true. I was actually thinking about that the other day, what that new Evil Dead movie will mean for the Evil Dead game and the content. I don't know much about the characters in that movie, but I do know that it's about two sisters. One sister visits the other in her apartment building, and she hasn't seen them for a few years. She's actually got 3 children, I think, and she finds in the basement of the building the Necronomicon, and obviously the words get spoken aloud, and the evil is given license to possess the living, and you know, all hell breaks loose. I actually don't mind that. I thought the trailer was quite good. Some people are saying it doesn't feel Evil Dead enough, and I'm thinking, well, Ash isn't going to be in it, so that's a huge element of Evil Dead, so I can understand people not feeling like it would be an Evil Dead type thing without him. But at the same time, the remake didn't have him in it, except for a cameo appearance right at the end, of course, where he said groovy to the camera. But I actually quite liked what I saw in the trailer. It seems to be hitting the right notes. You know, an Evil Dead movie is all about having buckets of blood being thrown on people, and there's definitely that. It's about someone getting a chainsaw and going, you know, around killing all the possessed people, you know. It's in a enclosed location, you know, like a apartment building, you know, so there's all this stuff. So I don't know, I think it'll be fine. And I'm pretty sure that Ash will be in there somewhere, you watch. Even though Bruce Campbell said he's retired as the character, I'm sure that he wouldn't be against dressing up in the outfit and just appearing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that he'd say no to that. I think it's more, he doesn't want to play the role of Ash as the lead in anything anymore. You know, he doesn't want the whole project to be based around him, and you know, the work it takes to, you know, do the, even though he doesn't do all the stunts, obviously there are stunt things that he would do as the actor that, you know, he's getting much older now, you know what I mean? So I think it makes sense that he would only appear as like a mentor character or something like that. Even though Ash is not really the type of character you would want to be a mentor. As we've seen in Ash vs. Evil Dead, he's not exactly top mentor material, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that we will probably get some kind of Ash appearance in the Evil Dead Rise movie coming out, even though Bruce Campbell said he's retired as the character. I mean, he came back to do the role for the video game, so
Damn.
he hasn't completely retired from the role of Ash. But I think there's a high percentage that the remake Evil Dead movie is actually part of the same continuity. It's just a different time. It's just a different, like, you know, timeline. And that's the thing, right? Because the Necronomicon does open up portals to other worlds, so it's very plausible that it could open up alternate realities as well. Which I think is implied in the Evil Dead remake anyway, because there's that scene where Mia becomes possessed, but you can actually hear the audio of Cheryl being possessed in the original Evil Dead. So I take it to mean that at the very same time when Mia's being possessed by the evil, so too is Cheryl. And both of them are revealing themselves to be possessed at the exact same time, but just in different timelines. Or different universes, so to speak. That's how I like to look at it. And yeah, that's what you was going to mention. Bruce Campbell said he retired from Ash, yet he still returned to voice him in Evil Dead the game, all 4 versions, Evil Dead 1, 2, Army of Darkness, and Ash vs. Evil Dead separately. That's true, you know, and I'm sure that if they wanted to do an audio book of Evil Dead or something, I'm sure that he wouldn't mind, you know, voicing the role of Ash and, you know, all that type of stuff. An animated Evil Dead movie. There was actually that reminds me, there was talk that maybe they would do a 4th Ash vs. Evil Dead as a like a 4th season of Ash vs. Evil Dead as an animated movie. I think that'd be a good compromise, actually. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Actually, speaking of the Evil Dead games, I would like to actually stream the older ones on the channel. I've never finished Hail to the King. I have finished A Fistful of Boomstick, and I have finished Regeneration, but I haven't played any of those Evil Dead games for quite a number of years now.
Oh, crap.
Get to Cauldron Lake. That is the plan. And as you already mentioned that before, Rod, you never played the other Evil Dead games before, but you'd love to. Well, Hail to the King is pretty much a Resident Evil clone. It's, you know, fixed camera angle perspective and all that type of stuff. But I found it to be really, really excruciatingly annoying and difficult, which is why I never actually finished it. A Fistful of Boomstick was better. It's more along the lines of what was that game that Rockstar did? It wasn't the Warriors. There was something. There was some other game that was done, I think, by Rockstar. In any case, it's modeled after that kind of game, which was a better game. And then Regeneration is a what-if scenario. What if, at the end of Evil Dead 2, Ash didn't get sucked into a portal and sent to the 1300s, but rather what would happen if the police and everyone turned up at the cabin and arrested him and put him into a psychiatric hospital? That's it, Mendez. Yeah, state of emergency. So A Fistful of Boomstick is apparently modeled after that, or by the same team, or something like that. And then Regeneration is the one which has the sidekick Sam, who is half human, half deadite, that is played by Ted Raimi, who is Sam Raimi's brother. I remember the banter between him and Ash in that is just so damn good. Okay, so we're almost at the end. So when I finish this game, I'll take a short break, and then that's when I'll set up for Control. That'll be the game that replaces Alan Wake. But I'll be playing that Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays until I finish it. So for a while this year, I want to do some games that cover 3 days a week. Because Thursdays is Red Dead 2. And I'm doing a massive playthrough for Red Dead 2, which will go for 6 months or more. I'm actually doing 2 passes through the game. One will be with low honor, and then the other one will be with high honor. And I'm going to be trying to get every single dialogue in the game that happens at the campsites throughout the whole game. I've already done 1 stream session, and that covered Chapter 1. And including doing the main missions, of course, in Chapter 1, hanging back in the camp and actually talking to all the characters over and over again to try and get new dialogue, waiting around, and then waiting for new variations to pop up, and then listening to that conversation and all that type of stuff. Overall, it took 7 hours and 33 minutes for me to get through Chapter 1. So if that's any indication, it potentially could take me over 100 hours just to get through one chapter maybe, because you got to remember Chapter 2 is probably going to have a hell of a lot of camp dialogue, because I found out that in Chapter 1 there's a certain time on the clock that the game stops ticking past, which is 9 a.m. in the morning. When you're doing a mission, of course, it changes the time of day. But when you're not doing a mission and you're in Coulter, the time doesn't go past 9 a.m. Although it does slightly go past. It's 5 past 9 in the morning.
Turn back now.
But when it comes to the campsites in chapters 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, however, there's going to be 24 in-game cycles across 7 in-game days a week. In which case I'm going to have to hang around in the camp and make the time pass and get as many variations as possible in every single 24-hour in-game period in the camp. And it's going to be a massive undertaking, so the next stream on Thursday, the whole stream will most likely still be in the first camp that we get to, where you get the money box. So that's the extent that my Red Dead 2 playthrough is going to this year. And of course, you get different dialogue by antagonizing people in the camp than you do by giving them positive greetings. So that's why I'm going to do the game twice. So that's 2 times going through the game, getting as much dialogue as possible. The first pass through, getting all the antagonizing dialogue, all the low honor stuff to happen at camps, and then the second pass will be getting all the positive stuff. And normally in that game I hate antagonizing John Marston, Abigail and Jack. In fact, I never do. That's one of my rules, but I'm willing to break that rule just for the sake of doing the playthrough where I get all the antagonizing dialogue in the camp. So that means that I'm going to be an asshole to John, Abigail and Jack, unfortunately. I'm not going to feel good about it, but it's part of my sacrifice for the playthrough. But that's why I'm doing the low honor first, because I always like to play Arthur as high honor. So I want the final instance of Arthur in that playthrough to be high honor Arthur. So that'll be a long playthrough. But currently Red Dead Redemption 2 streams are every Thursday, so that's going to take up a lot of time just doing 1 stream a week. And then Fridays is Tomb Raider, of course, and the weekends is Assassin's Creed. So those 4 days for a lot of the year are already covered. And then there's Monday, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, which I've got free to do Control, and any other games throughout the year that I want to play as well. Man, that is one massive undertaking for that Red Dead 2 playthrough, Rod, indeed. And that's only for listening to all dialogue. There's still the rest of the playthrough and everything that covers it. Exactly, Mendez, too. You know, like, I was also going to try and get as much dialogue as possible. Even dialogue where you're doing the wrong thing on purpose and another character says, hey, why are you doing that? You know, I was even going to go to that extent, but I decided in that stream to not worry about going to that extent. So to that end, I won't be doing everything in the game. So I won't be doing like all the 100% checklist. Because obviously, you know, if I wanted to get all the dialogue in the game, I'd have to basically do a few passes through with Arthur doing the stranger missions to get the dialogue, and then doing the slight differences with John Marston doing. So that would have been an even more massive undertaking. So I decided just to stick to the campsite dialogue for the playthrough. But the good thing is too, because I opened up a YouTube channel to put my VODs for, it means that those types of playthroughs now will be archived. Whereas in the past, those types of playthroughs, obviously on Twitch, the VODs automatically get deleted after a certain amount of time, so that gets lost forever. So all the playthroughs where I've done challenge playthroughs of, you know, people who were watching me stream them at the time know that I've done them, but for all other people know, I could just be making up the fact that I did these challenges, you know. So it's actually going to be good to have a channel as proof to say, hey, I did do this type of playthrough. Which brings me to another point, Mendez. You know how there's those playthroughs I did where I said I would never do them again? For the sake of having an archived version of those playthroughs, I probably will do them again. So once I do the no death challenge with Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I might actually decide to do a no death challenge again with 2013 and Rise. And then that way I'll have on archive doing that challenge with those two games, even though I've already done it. So yeah, there's a lot of different things I wanted to do this year for the channel that I haven't been doing. There's also a community reward that I set up, the first one I've ever done for the channel, and I decided to make it points contribution to me in my annual playthrough of Assassin's Creed 1, actually collecting all 420 flags. So that's already been met. I had 30 days on it, and the challenge was met in a matter of days. So that was cool. So in February, when I do my annual series run of Assassin's Creed, in Assassin's Creed 1, I'll be collecting all the flags in the game on stream. Mendes, yeah, doing low honor and antagonizing everybody. First, when you consider the events of both Red Dead 1 and 2, so you understand that. You're going to sacrifice your emotions to antagonize John, Abigail, and Jack. Exactly, dude. You know, because I have such a fondness for those characters. Given being a massive fan of Red Dead Redemption 1, all these years since that game came out in 2010, you know, and being so happy to see when they did Red Dead 2 that it was a prequel, so we could get more of John Marston before he unfortunately dies in Red Dead 1, you know, so that was cool. So yeah, I had the rule with that game where I never antagonized those characters, but I'm going to sacrifice that for the good of content for the channel.